We are glad to be here. It's been 4 or 5 years since we've been here last. Just out of curiosity, if you could raise your hand, if you were here last time, raise your hand. Wow. Wow. That's quite a change. I'm glad to see everybody. I'm glad to be here. So today I have for you a short video and also a presentation about Japan and its influence on us. It's going to remove a lot of mystery about Japan, and it's going to open your eyes a lot. But I also want to warn you, there's some scary pictures in it as well. So if you have little kids, you might want to cover their eyes. And if you're really offended, you might want to go out the back door, because there are some scary pictures. I just want to tell you that ahead of time. All right, so I'm going to start with our video, and we shall go.
In the harvest field now ripened, there's a work for all to do. Hark, the voice of God is calling, to the harvest calling you. Little is much when God is in it, labor not for wealth or fame. There's a crown and you can win it, if you'll go in Jesus' name. Does the place you're called to labor seem so small and little known? It is great if God is in it. He will not forget his own. Are you laid aside from service, body worn from toil and care? You can still be in the battle, in the sacred place of prayer. Little is much when God is in it. Labor not for wealth or fame. There's a crown and you can win it, if you'll go in Jesus' name. When the conflict here is ended and our race on earth is run, he will say, if we are faithful, welcome home, my child, well done. Little is much when God is in it. Labor not for wealth or fame. There's a crown and you can win it, if you'll go in Jesus' name. There's a crown and you can win it, if you'll go, if you'll give, if you'll pray, in Jesus' name.
Okay, let's start out with a word of prayer today. Dear God, thank you for this time we have to be here in Minnesota at this church. I pray that you would be with us today. I pray you open our minds and hearts as we learn about Japan, as we learn about its impact on our people in America. I pray that you would give me the words to say, and I pray that you would give us the wisdom to understand it. And I pray for your blessing on the rest of today and our services. We love you. We thank you. We ask these things in the name of Christ. Amen. All right. My message for you today is called Japanese Spiritual Soft Power. Let's see if I have this thing on. There we go. Japanese Spiritual Soft Power. And my thought for you today is this. Either you evangelize the world or the world will evangelize you. Think about that. That's the main theme for today. Soft power. What is soft power? Soft power is influence without force, the ability to shape hearts and minds and values through culture, trade, media, missions, and ideals rather than coercion. Spiritually, it crosses borders by shaping worldviews and desires. America has long exercised this through missions, philanthropy, music, Hollywood, and Christian influence, while Japan has done the same through cultural exports like entertainment, media, and lifestyle, subtly shaping generations of Americans, often without them realizing it. How exactly has this been happening? Let's look at the different generations. Older than the baby boomers, the main influence was World War II. Many in that generation had a deep hatred for Japan because of the loss of their comrades for Pearl Harbor and things like that. And Katie, when she first started out raising support, there were some people in the churches from that generation that would refuse to have anything to do with Japan. They would refuse to give money or even want to preach the gospel to these people because of that hatred that still existed. And that was sad but understandable. That generation, their whole idea of Japan was that of hatred for the most part. Then the baby boomer generation came along. They were influenced by things like Godzilla and samurai movies and Japanese cars and electronics. Japan was considered kind of a silly place with the dubbed movies and the junky cars and the junky electronics that people used a little bit and then they threw out. They kind of laughed at it. And then the next generation came around, Generation X. And Generation X was influenced by video games and entertainment, martial arts, anime, which is the animated Japanese cartoons, and manga, which is like our comics, and social media. And of course, everyone knows about the Nintendo. That was a huge influence. Mario, Nintendo was a huge influence on Generation X. And at that time, the view of Japan started to become positive. Now, Japan is kind of a cool place. They have cool stuff. Everyone had a Sony Walkman. Everyone had a Nintendo. It was a cool thing. And then the next generation came along, millennials. That's my generation. We were influenced even more by video games and entertainment, anime, manga, and social media. Pokemon, everyone knew about Pokemon. Everyone had Pokemon. That was the big thing for millennial generation. And then after that, the new generation now is Generation Z, and even more so before any other generations, they have been influenced by anime, manga, and social media. So much so that they want to dress up, they want to cosplay, they want to be just like Japanese people. So we can see over the generations how in a short amount of time we went to having extreme hatred toward Japan to wanting to be like Japanese. And now there are over 40 million people that come to Japan annually. They want to be like Japan. They want to live there. They want everything to do with Japan. They love Japan's culture. That is the soft power influence that Japan has had over us in these few generations. There's a huge subculture now of people across America that love Japan and everything having to do with it. Why does that matter? Well, a worldview is our philosophy or conception of the world. It's the glasses through which we see reality. Our worldviews have been steadily influenced by Japanese belief systems. We have been increasingly influenced by these unbiblical worldviews. These worldviews impact how we live, how we view God, how we view others. They impact our very souls. They have helped sway entire generations away from God and away from the Bible. Let's look at the current influence. In 2025, anime, that is the animated cartoons, consumption in the United States has surged. 71.86% of the population watches it. 36% of Americans watch anime on a weekly basis. 50% of Netflix users worldwide watched anime in 2025. Think about that. 50% worldwide of Netflix users watched anime. In the USA, the video game market has 224 million players, 45% with Sony and 27% with Nintendo. That's a huge percentage of the population. 75% of our comic sales are from manga. That's $10 billion. A majority of our comic sales are from Japanese animations. The annual manga and anime conventions in every major city are, for decades, there has been major conventions, and Katie and I went to one down in Georgia. Now, what does it happen? People start to live it out. AnimeCons.com lists all the major anime and manga conferences worldwide. Here's a map of America. These are the annual conferences. You can see they're in every single major city, and it doesn't cover, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, but they do have them as well. Just when we were in Missoula, there was one going on. So it does happen in the smaller towns as well. These are just the officially registered ones. So the actual number is a lot higher. These are people going to these anime conferences. For many, an escape into anime manga creates an alternate belief system to Christianity. It becomes idolatry. These conventions have become alternatives to the church. They are hubs for New Age, atheism, agnostic, LGBT, and Eastern religions. For many of the blue cities, for many of the blue people, so to say, their church has become these kinds of things. Large segments of people in the West are turned away from God due to these influences. Some devote their lives to them. Look at this guy right here. He's probably around my age. A lot of people dress up, they're serious about it. They live it out. This is their life. Eastern religion practitioners attend these conventions. They often lecture and they perform rituals, actual rituals from Eastern religion. It's a gateway into that. What are the modern realities? Well, America's freedoms have gradually led to its transformation into a modern-day Babylon of sorts. In these last days, through internet trade and travel, many have gradually opened many doors to Japanese worldviews and spirituality through movies, games, comics, martial arts, and travel. 28 to 29% of Americans are considered religious nuns. They have no primary belief system, especially not Christianity. Many are becoming nuns due to the strong influence of these Japanese-influenced mediums over many generations. These Japanese mediums have had a major impact on the hearts and minds of millions of people worldwide. What are the biblical realities? The Bible indicates that we are in a spiritual conflict in Ephesians 6, 11 through 13. Pretty much all of you are aware of that. You could probably quote it by heart. The Bible tells us not to love the world, and that we battle against the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. And a lot of the Japanese influences come through that lust of the eye itself, through anime and manga. It's a huge thing. Anime is very flashy. It's very bright. It draws you in. It gets your attention. It's very much so appeals to the lust of the eye. Our flesh and our spirit are in constant warfare throughout our life. Our adversary comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy. We are not in darkness, but we are children of light as God's people. We need to watch and we need to be sober, and that's what this message is about today. The influence of Japan and what it can have on you and your children if you are not careful, and the influence it can have on you as well. Let's move on. How does it all work? Japanese spiritual soft power. So through constant exposure of various popular mediums, including television, commercial, advertisement, internet, media, movies, music, video games, magazine, books, comics, we are constantly inundated with influences from the world, the flesh, and the devil. Japanese spiritual soft power influences have impacted our worldview, beliefs, and outlook on life more than we would like to admit. If they have not personally impacted us, they have certainly impacted our children, friends, and people that we know. From these influences, we are constantly taught Shinto, animistic, Buddhist, and Bushido code concepts from Japan without even thinking much about it. We're going to go right into that. And this is a poster from Jamen and I. I took a picture of that while I was there, and I said, wow, you know what? That would be really great for a message someday. Here we are, we're using it. So Shintoism is the first thing. People are always asking me about, what is Japan all about? What is Shintoism about? Well, we'll go into it right now. Shintoism. Shintos believe that humans are offspring of the kami. We're offspring of the spirits. There's millions of spirits. They call these spirits kami, and they call them gods, literally gods. We call them demons or ghosts, basically. They're just spirits. But Japanese literally worship these spirits. And when I explain to Japanese people about God, I say, look, these spirits are not the top of the food chain. These spirits have a boss, and that is God. But they don't see it that way. They see these spirits as the boss that they worship, and that's what the spirits taught them, and that's what they believe. They don't see anything higher than that. So they're literally worshiping these demonic entities. They believe that the world goes on forever. There is no beginning, there is no end. It's eternal, it goes on forever. So therefore there will be no judgment, right? Human spirit, it lives on after death. It literally becomes one of these kami. And what is important is to live fully in the present, to live for the here and the now. Again, that theme, don't think about the future. Don't think about what happens after you die. Just think about right here, right now. And humans contain both good and evil, but by nurturing the kami mind and humility, one can improve and exhibit better human qualities. Again, it's a kind of a legalistic type of a system where you have to be the best person that you can be. It's all about you. And of course, nature is most important. There is no supreme God or ultimate text, but in its place, you have nature. We have to preserve the earth. We have to keep it. That's why Japanese are very big on nature preservation, saving the planet, things like that. That's Shintoism. This is Hayao Miyazaki. He is like the Walt Disney of Japan. He kind of looks like Walt Disney, maybe, if he was Japanese. Here's what he says. He says, I believe that children's souls are the inheritors of historical memory from their ancestors. That's why I believe it's very important to depict nature in a way that allows them to sense the spiritual in it. And this guy has made many Japanese animation movies. They're very popular over here as well. Lots of people watch them. Here's what he says also. Modern civilization has forgotten this. We're losing awareness that we are part of nature. In my grandparents' time, it was believed that kami-sama, gods, existed everywhere, in the trees and rivers, insects, wells, anything. My generation doesn't believe that, but I like the idea that we should treasure everything because kami-sama might be in them. Now, he will say that they don't believe in that, but they actually do believe in that. That's a huge part of their culture. And for a crossover, you can kind of see that with Native American beliefs. There's a lot of similarities with Shintoism and Native American beliefs as well. Here's what he says. I'm not a religious person. Have you heard that before? Many times. I don't follow any specific religious path, but I believe there is a spirit or life force, have you heard that before? That animates everything, and I think that belief is naturally Japanese. He spells it out for you. This is what he's trying to communicate. This is what is communicated in a lot of Japanese literature, animation, manga, these kind of ideas. How about animism? This is another main belief of Japan. It's like a folk religion, and they believe that material things and beings exist. So there's the physical world and there's the spiritual world. The material and the immaterial things, they coexist in time and space and they influence each other. So you do things to get things from the spiritual world. This is why there's all this kind of, magic and rituals and shamanism and things like that. They are trying to get power from that world by doing things. In a world fashioned by a principle called mana or ki exists, which have extraordinary impact. That theme of mana or ki or chi, it's throughout a lot of Asian religions and Asian thinking. It's that energy. They're gathering this energy, this life force, this power, and they're using it to defeat their opponents oftentimes or to get things in their life. How is that displayed? Primarily through Pokemon. So 500 million Pokemon games have been sold worldwide. Countless hours have been spent on Pokemon. In Pokemon, it operates an animalistic worldview depicting a Japanese version of spiritual warfare and evolution. The game is focused on beings and forces. Power is essential. It's essential for you to have the power to dominate your opponents, the power that you gather. Pokemon are based off of Japanese yokai or spirit monsters. If you go on YouTube, you can type in Pokemon yokai. There's lots of videos on it. These monsters are based off of actual Japanese spirit monsters of the past, through their folklore, through their heritage and their history of animism. They're actual beings. You use incense and various things to attract and capture the monsters, and you use potions to heal them. Again, it's a very animistic worldview type of a thing. It's teaching people that. In the game, you interact with sacred places. And more involvement in Pokemon lore teaches Japanese spirituality the deeper that you go. So Pokemon is like a gateway drug. It's like an entry into a lot of these beliefs. It seems kind of harmless, like a fun game on the outward appearance. But as you read it, as you get more into it, it teaches you Japanese spirituality. It teaches you a Japanese worldview. And that is a huge impact on the world. People all around the world come to Japan just for Pokemon. That's one of the main reasons they come. What about Buddhism? Buddhism was founded by Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, and he was an enlightened teacher, not a god. They don't believe that there is God, there is no God in Buddhism. It's more of a philosophy. And life involves suffering and impermanence. Suffering comes from craving and attachment to this world. Freedom comes from the Eightfold Path. Again, following these different steps, you can have freedom. It's a legalistic type of system. And the goal is to reach nirvana, to be released from suffering, to have a reincarnation, and there is no permanent self. Again, you always hear about being one with the galaxy. That is Buddhism. How is that displayed? How is that taught? Well, Dragon Ball Z is one of the main influences of that, a main animation that's very popular around the world. Karma is taught. Good and bad actions, they shape future outcomes. Samsara is taught with endless cycles of death and rebirth. Self-overcoming is taught with discipline, training, and detachment. They're learning to detach from this world and suffering. There's a transcendence of the ego, the transcendence of the self. And it has influenced hundreds of millions of children worldwide by indirectly and directly portraying and teaching Buddhism. A lot of people learn about Buddhism through this animation. It's the most popular one. What about the Bushido Code? That's a huge part of Japan. The Bushido Code, it teaches honor over life. Death is preferable to disgrace. It teaches the discipline of the self. It teaches a loyalty with a hierarchy. That's why you're always bowing to the person that's above you, your elders. There's a loyalty. There's a hierarchy system. There's a shame-based motivation. You're motivated based upon people shaming you. There is no good and evil. There's only honor and dishonor. There is no God. There's only the respecting of the ancestors. This is Bushido. This is how it's influenced us. There's a fight for honor. There's courage and self-control, loyalty to the ancestors and hierarchy. We see all of these systems in the martial arts that have influenced us in animations and in samurai movies. Discipline, self-mastery, self-punishment. There's always times of great pain and self-punishment when you're learning martial arts. Death before dishonor is favored. The warrior way of life is favored. There is no good or evil. Morality is very subjective, and this is how Japanese could be so brutal in World War II. Ruthless to enemies, mercy and pity only to those who are worthy. And of course, duty over happiness. And this is why many Japanese work long hours, because of their loyalty, their duty. Through the Bushido Code is where they learn that to the company over anything else. It's very man-centered. There is no God. It's always focused on the self. That's the Bushido influence. And all of these themes play out in manga and anime. We see occultic themes with magic and mysterious powers. There's always a theme of defeating God with our strength. There's always an anti-God message. There's always a promotion of violence and death and suicide. There's always perverse sexuality, LGBT things. There's role reversals with men and women, angels and demons. Anti-Christian values, always portraying God and Christianity as evil. Reincarnation, the spirit world is portrayed. There's moral relativism. Always self-salvation without God, always promoting self-love. Buddhism, Shinto, animism, Bushido, and atheism, they're all prevalent themes that are constantly taught and promoted throughout anime and manga and Japanese video games. What are the results of this? Well, these are the results. We see this picture from the Summer of Love right down the street, right? This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own self, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. For of this sort are they which creep into houses, and are led captive, silly women, laden with lusts, sins, led away with diverse lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of truth. I find it interesting that in a lot of these protests, people are very anti-God, maybe LGBT, whatever, but also you see a lot of anime stuff. You see anime t-shirts, you see anime-related themes. A lot of these people identify with that. Those are big influences on their lives, on their soul. It's very interesting how they play together. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good. An evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. For of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. So what you feed yourself with, if you're filling yourself with these things, it's going to come out somewhere, sometime. Know ye not that to whom you yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants you are to whom you obey, whether of sin unto death or obedience unto righteousness? Who do you think these people that love these things are serving? Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry, for which things' sake the wrath of God cometh on the children of disobedience. This is a direct connection. So what is the result with the new generations, Generation Z and millennials, the nuns? We see the theme saying, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. You hear that all the time with this generation. Nothing happens after we die. We'll come back again. We'll reincarnate. When we die, we respawn like a game. Who cares about God? The Bible was written by men. Doesn't really matter. Christians are so judgmental. This is my pronoun. You have nihilism, nothing is true. You have New Age, you have atheism, you have no religion. Directly associated with suicide rates and high depression, no purpose for being. I talked to a young man at Walmart the other day, and he said, I don't like my job. He's basically said, I have no purpose, I have no meaning. And that's sad. He's probably, who knows, he might like this stuff. And of course, we see school shootings, violence, and outbreaks. These are all the fruits of all of these things. This is what you get out of it. A new identity then emerges. The group is right. Harmony with the group is vital. Whatever the group says is what you believe. You're seeing that new type of identity emerging in America. There is no sense of sin. There is no God. All religions are okay. There are no moral absolutes. Identifying with Christians has social costs, therefore it's rejected. There is no grace. It becomes a work or a task-oriented society. There are no answers for the problem of evil. It leads to the doubt of God. That is the result. What can we do about it? What can we do about this onslaught? There is a Christian response. Do not live the same way that you did in the past before you were saved. We are to come out from among them, to be separate. Exercise spiritual discernment, knowing that Satan is trying to destroy you. That's the whole purpose of all of this. It's trying to lead to your spiritual destruction, the destruction of your family. The sooner you realize that, the better off you will be to fight that battle, to help other people. Keep your heart diligently. What are you feeding your soul? Whatever you feed is going to grow. That's what they say. Put off the old man, put on the new man. Renew your mind daily. Bring every thought captive to Christ. If you're struggling with something, if you're struggling with these things, take that thought to Christ. Keep on fighting it. Do not give place to the devil. Don't bring his toys into your living room and play with them. the consequences. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Maybe you will not lose your salvation, but you may lose your rewards. If you spend all your time loving these things and you're into these things, you start to lose care about your testimony. You start to lose care about the things of God. You start to lose care about the people around you. And you will eventually be losing your rewards that you could have had. Love, what happens is the love of the world increases, you lose your testimony, you don't want to share the gospel. Remember Demas in the Bible? He loved this present world. He departed the ministry. And what happens is what's called cognitive dissonance. You believe one thing, but you live the other way. And it causes great stress and anxiety until one becomes the dominant. You cannot serve two masters. Your friends, family, and children and grandchildren, they can be negatively impacted by your love of these things. Maybe you think, you know what, I'll be okay. It's not going to impact me. But what about your children? What about your grandchildren? How's that going to affect them? And from the missionary perspective, it idolizes and it preserves Japan rather than care for their eternal souls. You're reinforcing what they believe. You're saying, wow, this is great. Your culture is so awesome. It's so cool that you worship these spirits. It's so cool that you worship your ancestors. You preserve them into their falsity rather than care about their eternal soul. No, your grandpa is dead. You're not talking to your grandpa. You're talking to a demon. That's what's happening. It's not too late. As we near the return of Christ, we are to expect an increase in apostasy. So I want you to remember to pray for Japan and be aware of these influences in your own life, whether you realize it or not. And again, either you evangelize the world or the world is going to evangelize you. That's what it comes down to. Where's your heart's allegiance towards? I hope this was a sobering message today. I hope it opened your eyes to the reality of the influences of Japan upon this nation.